Hey everybody, I am having some technical difficulties, so if you are, as soon as you get on, please let me know how everything looks and how everything sounds. Um, I am sorry for the delay and for being late, but when I went live a few minutes ago, something happened and I didn't have a picture. So we're going to do this. So I need to know how everything looks. So as soon as you can see the image, as soon as you get on, please let me know how everything looks and how everything sounds. I see Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Rachel, if you can give me a thumbs up. I know you said something about driving home when you were going to log on, but if you can give me a thumbs up if everything sounds okay, if everything looks okay, that would be great. You could be my sound check person. Okay, I'm going to be waiting for some people to come on. I'm sorry, I am a little bit late. I am having some difficulties with camera issues and connecting to Facebook. So Facebook has been very frustrating lately. So, so when you come on, please let me know how everything sounds and how everything looks. Let me know if you're watching. Let me know who you are, where you're watching from. Give me some hearts, give me some thumbs up. I hope everybody can hear. Everybody see me? Everything look okay? What? Hi, Amber. Nice to see you here this evening. Hope you're having a good weekend. Yay, got some hearts. Woohoo! Thank you. I'm going to take a few more minutes, just a couple more minutes. I have 8:09. I did start a little bit late trying to get the picture up and connect to Facebook and everything, so I'm just going to go ahead and wait just a couple more minutes and give some people a chance to get on. And please go ahead and share this with your followers. Maybe invite another mom to come on over and watch the chat. I want to let you all know this is, open discussion. Please feel free to, ask questions, leave comments, throw up some hearts and some likes and that kind of thing while the video is going on. That does help show encouragement and lets me know that you guys can still hear me and still see me. But this is not meant to be a monologue. This is meant to be a dialogue. I would like to have some back and forth conversation, via text. And Erin says, "Oh, you look amazing," and I can hear you. Thank you. Oh, yay! Oh, I love to see all this stuff showing up on the screen. I do have some notes, so if you see me looking down a lot, I am going to be referring to some notes and some things as we go along, because I want to try to stay a little bit organized, and I don't want to keep you too long. I understand it's Sunday night, well, many of you, I know school is out and summer has begun, so while we're waiting for some people to join, tell me what you are going to be doing this week. This is like boom, right into summer, and vacation Bible schools are starting and camps are starting. People are going on vacations. What are you all doing this week? It's like the first, some of you have been on vacation for a little while, for a few weeks, but what are you guys doing this summer? Let me know. Drop something in chat. Let me know what you guys are doing. Thank you for the hearts. Oh, Erin, you have VBS next week. Oh boy, man, everything's starting like lickety split, boom, boom, boom. We have a yard sale coming up this Saturday. It's a community yard sale for our neighborhood. So we are going to be in full-blown yard sale mode. I've got all kinds of things I've been getting ready. We need to clean out our basement. I've been collecting things, and now that Rebecca has outgrown all of the hand-me-downs, and we didn't have another boy, so a lot of the boy stuff is that I haven't been able to give to anybody. It's all going to come out for the yard sale. So maybe we'll make enough money that we can go to Disney. Okay, Aaron, your boys have a soccer tournament this Saturday. Okay. Is everybody still doing soccer for the summer, or is this kind of wrapping up things? Whew, I'm starting to get warm in here. Already, these lights are already starting to kill me. Whoo, doggy. Rachel, I am starting to clean out our shed and pack up some stuff that we aren't using. Okay, good. That's always good. Always good to get that down and pare that stuff down, purge, get rid of the stuff you're not using. Okay, Aaron, it's wrapping up. Good, good. Okay, just a couple more minutes. I'm going to take a drink real quick here. Ooh, lemonade. And for those of you that are following me, this is naturally flavored sparkling water, 0 sugar. I'm being good right now, trying to be. You know, real quick, I'm just so sick and tired of being sick and tired of this, what you can't see from here down, looking like I'm constantly 5 months pregnant. This morning I had my day 1 where I fasted. I was doing intermittent fasting, and so I fasted from 7 p.m. until 11:30 this morning. And then I ate, and then now it's 8 o'clock, so I didn't have anything after 7. We got home from church. Oh, I had a hot dog. I had a hot dog when I got home from church. And now I'm just drinking again. So I'm not going to have anything again until I'm going to try to go. I don't know if I'll be able to go till 11. I was busy this morning with church, so it was a little bit of a distraction, but I'm going to see if I can go at least till 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. So that's 12 to 15 hours of fasting. We'll see how that helps. Thank you, Aaron. Rachel said that's this week. This summer we are looking to move, and my stepdaughter is moving in, and my sister is getting married and selling the house and moving as well. So yeah, your summer is jam-packed too. Yes, so much is happening, so many changes. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of get started. And this is for those who are going to be tuning in and you're the first time tuning into my channel. Welcome. And I am Darlene Taylor, professional development coach, and I want to welcome you to the Recycled Mom. I don't normally have live chats on my Facebook page. I normally have them every Sunday in our private Facebook group. And I started the Recycled Mom just because I had this deep desire to help moms, and not just moms, but those moms who are overwhelmed and seeking hope and direction. I wanted to help them discover their true identities, and so that they can survive, or so that they can thrive and not survive at life, just so that they can live a full life knowing and being confident in who they truly are. Oh, is there somebody? Nancy? I can't see who's joining or anything. So if you're here, and oh, thank you for all the likes. So when you come on, please let me know who you are, where you're watching from. And I always love seeing the little like signs and the hearts. I love that. So if you're an overwhelmed mom and you're overwhelmed with life, and you're seeking hope and direction, you may have lost your identity, you're not sure what to look forward to in your life, you feel lost and you're wandering, well, then I invite you to join our growing group of moms on Facebook. It's our Recycled Mom Facebook group, and you can join our group by going to the top of my page and clicking on the little blue button that says visit group, and it'll take you right there. Otherwise, just search on Facebook for the Recycled Mom and look for the coffee stain logo, and click to join the group, and I will go ahead and add you in there. So, all right, so tonight, oh, Erin, your friend Nancy is watching. Oh, well, hello, Nancy, welcome. Okay, so tonight, I want to dig in. The purpose for having the chat tonight, is to talk about being there, how to be there for others and how to love others who are hurting. We all know people who are in pain. I mean, usually it's obvious, right? Someone might be fighting cancer. Someone has chronic health issues. Maybe someone has lost a loved one. Maybe you've lost a loved one. Maybe someone who has a child that's struggling with a learning disability. Maybe that's you. These are obvious sufferers, if you will. We know we want to help, and we can see them suffering. We want to help. Maybe we're not exactly sure how to help. And then there are the silent sufferers, and I call them functioning sufferers. You heard of a functioning addict. We're familiar with that term, where someone would have an addiction, but they can still function at life. They can, and a lot of times you may not even know they have an addiction because it has not consumed them to a point where it's obvious, right? So we have functioning sufferers, the silent sufferers, who, that you can't really see what is going on inside because it hasn't become visible on the outside. These people put on a smile and they go about their day. They probably even joke and laugh. They show up for work. They show up for church. They show up for school, and they look put together. They know how to survive the day. Maybe this is you. Maybe this is someone that you sit next to at church. At school, or it could be someone that you work with. This could be family, or it could be a friend, even a close friend. And you have no idea what is going on the inside, but these people know how to put on a smile, and they go through the day. But when they come home, they retreat into their shell. They might go into a closet and cry. At home, and especially maybe if they're living alone, it's no one has to see them at home. They may, sit and binge eat at home, or maybe there's other things. Maybe drugs or alcohol are involved. I mean, these are all of these things that we just don't know about other people. And I'm hoping that this chat tonight will help you, if this is you, that you might be a silent sufferer. Maybe you're an open sufferer, and you have things that are going on and people are trying to help you, or you see someone that you want to help. I'm just hoping that tonight's chat would help provide you some hope, knowing that you're not alone and that there are other people out there that want to help you. Rachel says, look, there's already someone here is raising your hand. Rachel says, that's me. That's me too, Rachel. I am what I would call a functioning sufferer. And I'm hoping that even with tonight's chat, thanks for the emojis, that it would open up our eyes, and not even just our eyes, but open up our hearts to those that are around us. And just to be sensitive, to strike up conversations and to let people know that we're open to relationships and to friendships, and to that we're open to conversation. I'm hoping that after tonight's conversation, or tonight's chat, that we will notice people, and that we would just be able to let others know that we are here, and that we are open, and that we are here for you, and also be able to help us in how to love other people. So with all of that said, how many of you know, raise of hands if you can, or just whatever, give me a thumbs up, if you Oh, Aaron, it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Um, yes. Yes, so just with the people here, we're all not alone. In some ways, that can be comforting, just to know that your situation is not, you aren't alone. I guess there's comfort in knowing that there are others with you. Not like, misery loves company, but just to know that there are others who maybe have gone through it, gone through something, or just, hey, you know what? I'm struggling so much on the inside, and I just don't want people to know. A lot of times I would say that it could be embarrassing to let someone else know that you're hurting, or that you have a problem. If you have a struggle, or you have a need, maybe you are extremely lonely, and where, and that's because maybe you don't have any family around, or you might be new to a certain area. Maybe you've gone through a big change in your life, and you're an empty nester, and you've got all of these feelings, of just everybody leaving, that Aaron, you say amen. Yes. This is, with the recent events that happened this week with, in the news with, Kate Spade and, I always forget this guy's name, Anthony Bourdain, I think was his name, famous chef. I think I'm going to get that wrong. I think, and Kate Spade had a big in the fashion, big fashion icon, made all the cute little handbags and things like that. It is hard to imagine that someone who is successful like that, or you bet, and you all remember Robin Williams, and when that hit the news, you would never think that some of these people would be so hurting, and to a point that they would take their lives. And that's the whole point, is that there are a lot of things that people have going on inside, and they're all around us, and we just don't think about it because we're always looking for the obvious. We're looking for the person that is dressed in black trench coat or something, and is into goth and heavy metal music, or has full of tattoos and piercings, or is someone who is strung out, on drugs, or maybe has, and those are all outward and visible things. And I'm going to tell you something. The only difference between that person that's very outward, you can tell that life has just dealt with them, and they're, those people that have an outward visible pain going on, are the only difference between that person and the person that you can't see anything. Okay, they're really, well, actually that is the only difference. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. The only difference is that you can see their suffering, you can't see the other one's suffering. And then there's a saying in a recovery group called Reformers Unanimous. There's a chapter here in Winchester. In that recovery group, that's just saying this: the only difference between the people that come out on Friday nights and the people that are sitting in the pews on Sundays is that you can see their issues. And the ones that are sitting in the pews is usually the ones that you can't see. So, take that as you will. But that's what it is. I mean, the person that's sitting in a jail cell tonight, the only difference between that person and me is that, they got caught. Okay. I have been in many situations in my life that, I am surprised that I am not sitting, or have not sat in that jail cell. Okay. So pain, suffering, any struggles, those are all things that we all go through. And how are we going to know? How are we going to be able to love others when we either set of these people? We have the set over here that has obvious pain and suffering, and then we have a set over here that you can't see any pain and suffering. And that all comes down to being there. It all comes down to letting others know that you are available for a relationship, You are available for them. You are making yourself open with them. Hi, Sarah. Let's see. Rachel says big changes are happening to some good, some hard to deal with. Okay. So Rachel, and then welcome, Sarah, by the way. Welcome. Thanks for joining. We're talking about being there, how to love those who are hurting. And basically that's what I was just saying, is that we want to be there. Not only you, the sufferer, want to build a community of support. You want to be able to have someone to reach out to. But if I'm going to be able to reach out to someone, I would need to know who I can reach out to. I mean, if you are not there for me to reach out to, how am I going to, I'm going to continue to feel alone and isolated, and that I don't have anyone around to go to. Now, yes, that does take time. So that's what this is about. This is about being there, being purposeful, being intentional in going to others and having a deep conversation. It doesn't have to take that much energy, but just, something other than the weather and all the basic stuff. And, when you want to say hi, how are you doing? Make sure that you are being open with yourself, being open and sharing your life with someone else is one of the biggest ways to open this communication, and then we can start being there for each other and loving those. We're already loving each other. So when we start to hurt, we can go to someone and let them know that I really need to talk to you, or I really need a shoulder to cry on. If you all are familiar with the Bible and you've heard of the story of a man named Job, and Job was such a man of God, and God knew that Job was an upstanding man, and Job loved God, and God knew it. He knew that he was this man who was who was intent on worshiping him, praising him. He was interceding for his family in prayer. And the Bible tells us that God saw this man and saw his heart and saw what he was doing. God knew that this man loved him. Satan challenged God and said, well, I bet he wouldn't if he, had some adversity come his way. And God said, well, okay, you can test my child, but you cannot take his life. And so Satan threw a bunch of adversity at Job, to the point where Job lost everything. He lost his wealth. He lost everything that he owned. Satan took it all. He destroyed it all. Satan took his family. This man lost all of his children all at once, because they were all sitting together having dinner, and Satan just came in and took their lives. Job lost everything. He even, to a point where he was so distraught, he just had all of this thrown at him. And I'm totally cutting to the skipping everything, to the point where Job never cursed God, never lost his faith. Did it waver? Did he have questions? Yes. But what I want to point out in the story was that during this time where he was not understanding and he was mourning and grieving, he had friends who came and sat with him for several days and did not say anything at all, but sat and suffered with him. And this is what I wanted to get to tonight, was that this kind of friendship, this kind of fellowship and sharing is so needed today. Aaron says, I am here for all of you ladies. I mean it. I care with my whole heart, and it's a privilege to be your friend. That's very sweet, Aaron. And oh, hi, Jenny. Thanks for coming on. And Karen, hey, I just saw you pop on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. where we are at and talking about being there for others, I had just summarized, probably very horribly, Job from the Bible, the story of Job. And the point that I wanted to focus on was that when Job had all of this adversity thrown at him, I mean, I cannot even imagine losing everything, losing my wealth, even losing some of my health, and losing all of my children all at once, and having all of this heart-wrenching adversity thrown at you. He never cursed God, but and that, while that is important, what I wanted to focus on was that Job had friends that came to him, and those friends sat with him and suffered with him for several days. And that is what I wanted to focus on, because that is what is needed today. When someone is suffering, or they tell you that they're suffering with something, one of the best things that we can do is to just suffer with them, is to let them vent, let them cry, let them, maybe throw their fists, or whatever it is that they're suffering from. Let them let it out, and not try to fix it, and not try to, solve any problems or offer any advice, because sometimes the best thing we can do for them is to just let them suffer, and we suffer with them. And now that means that if you're going to be there for someone, this is going to mean that you're going to have to roll up your sleeves. Okay, you're going to have to roll up your sleeves, and you need to get messy with them, because, my friends, love is messy. It's going to get messy, but you know what? It's beautiful. That messy love is beautiful. So when you get down and you're working with your child or your friend, maybe it's your spouse, it could be anyone, and especially when you have some of those people who are suffering with addictions, and a lot of those addictions that we can't see, and some that might be really embarrassing for someone to admit that they have. Could be an eating disorder. It could be, something where it could be cutting. Yeah, Aaron, raw and real. Some of the, some of these that we can't see, right? You don't really see someone who has an eating disorder. I mean, unless it's like very, very advanced and they have anorexia, only then, do we see it. But then, oh my goodness, this has been going on for a very long time. If we are building these relationships of just being intentional on making our conversations more than about the weather, and, when you ask someone, hey, how you doing? It's good to see you. If someone says, I'm not doing too good, take a minute. Oh, hey, have a seat. Hey, let me talk to you. Or even let's go out for coffee, or would you like to come on over for coffee, or something. And you say, hey, let me be, let me be that ear for you. Hey, I want to help you. Would you like to go out to coffee with me this weekend? Or, would you like to talk later on tonight? Or even if it's a point where you can do it right now, let's do it right now. Hey, why don't you sit down and let's talk about that for a second? How can I help you? How can I help you? So I think about Job a lot, and some of the adversity that he's going through, and right, Aaron, exactly. And the adversity that he was just so extreme. And I know that a lot of you have something that's going on, or something that you struggle with. It could be thoughts, or it could be feelings, and it could be just downright family situations that are just weighing on you. Sometimes it's just all, you just need someone to sit with. And with technology that we have today, there's no reason why, thanks for the thumbs up, guys. There's no reason why we can't at least have some texting or some messaging going on, even if we can't do a phone call. But we can always, we've got these things that are, at our disposal. A lot of us have cell phones, and we can do a text and say, hey, I want to chat with you. Are you free? Sometimes it's going to be you being the person who wants to be there and show love to someone. It's going to be you're gonna have to open that door and say, hey, you know what, I'd like to take you out to lunch this week, or I'd like to have you over for some coffee and just to get to know you a little better. That's where we need to start. It doesn't, you can start with a group of a few ladies just to kind of, so it's not so one-on-one, and that can be intimidating. Sometimes having a few ladies over can be just a wonderful icebreaker, or it could be couples, that kind of thing. Getting together, it may just be you having to open that door and let others in. Now, if you're on the other end, the receiving end, oh, Karen, you went through a dead spot. Oh, look at me. Look, I'm going like, I'm all like choppy. I can see on my screen, it's kind of like, woo. So I'm trying not to move too much. So now, if you are on the receiving end, so someone is inviting you to coffee, you're the one that is struggling, and you've got just so much, and you just can't even bear the thought of having to have a conversation with someone. You're at that point in your life where things are just that crazy for you. Karen, okay, great idea. Aaron, who wants a coffee date this week? Hey, someone else get on Aaron's list, because I think we just had a 4-hour coffee date last week. But you can have a virtual coffee. You can do something, FaceTime, anything. But so let me say, so you're on the receiving end, and you're the one that you've got a lot that's going on in here. And maybe that other person doesn't know, but they're going to say, hey, would you like to come over for, lunch? Or we'd like to have you and your husband over for dinner, or something like that. If I can just encourage you to take that step, because that person is offering an open door for you, and deep down you are like, I really would love some conversation, or I would love to have I would love to have a break for a few moments, for an hour or two during my day, so I can get a break and have some adult conversation. Do what you can to get to that date. I mean, ask your husband, your wife, whoever's watching, ask, hey, you know what? The guys invited me somewhere. The guys invited me to go out for nachos, whatever. Or this guy's having a group, a get together at his place, with some men, and he invited me, and I would really like to go. Just talk with your spouse at home and really make a point of, I really would like to have this friendship. Let them know that you need this. Okay, because that's big. That's big. A lot of us go around and we just don't say anything. We don't feel like saying anything about how we feel. We're just going to continually silently suffer. Oh, you all making coffee date, but yeah, PM later, y'all. Come on. All right, love it, love it. We're getting some people together for talking. Sorry, hold on. I dropped my glasses just a second. Okay, so but again, so I was talking about, please try to accept the invitation. For me, a long period of my life, that season of my life when, I'm always busy with my kids, but, homeschooling, husband works long hours, not any family in the area, not anyone that I really connected with. And I really wanted that connection with people. And not that I wasn't invited at times, but I did not even want to go out because one, I didn't want to, this is true. I did not want to take a shower to get myself ready to go to someone else's house because it was too much energy that I didn't have. So I didn't want to go. But yet at the same time, I wanted that friendship. I wanted that, that conversation. I wanted someone that I could talk to, another woman, a friend that I could confide in, right? I wanted that. But when invitations came my way, I didn't take some of them because I didn't want to get out of the house. I was, I probably hadn't had a shower in like 2 or 3 days, and I didn't have, my hair or makeup done. I didn't have any, then I went through this, I didn't have any clothes that fit, and I didn't feel like I could wear any, it was a whole bunch of that I just didn't even have the mental energy to want to get in the shower so that I could go have the thing that I really wanted the most. Yeah, Aaron and Rachel, we'll message each other um, after the chat, and we can set up something. Sure, I'll join. um, so, ladies and gentlemen, whoever's watching, whenever and wherever you're watching, okay, it's going to go both ways. It's going to be someone that you need to reach out to someone and open that door and let people know. I'm open for business. I'm open for conversation. I'm open. So it's going to take you opening the door. Okay. Not everyone may accept your invitation, but that's okay. Okay. If you are honest in your invitation and wanting to, just strike up a conversation, you don't have to have another motive. It's just noticing people and saying, hey, it's great to see you today. People you work with, people you go to church with, people in your home. We forget people that we live with, and people around your neighborhood, that kind of thing, telling people that you appreciate them. Okay. Someone asked me a question the other day. When was the last time you told someone you appreciated them? I was like, oh, wow. I was convicted. But you know what? People want that. We want to be recognized. We want to be appreciated. And there's nothing wrong with someone noticing us. Okay. It's a deep need that we have, right? The recognition and knowing that you're appreciated is very encouraging. So, and that's biblical, by the way. In the Bible, it tells that we should exhort one another while it is still today. I cannot give you the reference. I am sorry. I want to say it's in Corinthians, like Corinthians, or it could be Galatians, but it's biblical. Okay. God knows what he's talking about. He says, exhort each other while it's today. So we should be encouraging each other while it's today. We may not have tomorrow, and yesterday's already gone. So what you have is today. So, before you go to bed at night, you can tell someone that you appreciate them. You can send them a text. You can give someone a call. You can tell someone in your house that you love them and you appreciate them. Okay. That goes a long way. Okay, so how am I doing on time? Okay, 8:45. Gotta take another drink. Sorry. All right, Aaron, Darlene, you have always looked top notch, and I leave you. Well, thank you. There are days, though. No, I'm serious. There were days for the long period of time that I didn't even want to go anywhere because of that very thing. I am taking a piece of paper. I'm sorry, I'm going to freak your camera out for a little while. I have got to fan myself. Okay, it's hot up here. Of course, this doesn't help. I had on my outfit from church, and now I'm sitting under these lights. But there is that time, if you suspect that someone has been a little withdrawn or seems a little depressed, don't push, but keep letting them know that you love them. Keep letting the person that makes mistakes, let them know that you love them unconditionally. There are so many people out there that don't know what unconditional love is. I don't think anybody, even those that are watching, don't even know what unconditional love is. Oh, you lost connection. Sorry, Aaron. Karen says, I always tell everyone I love them. Yes, and we need to do that. Aaron says, what I've come to find is that people misjudge or are not ready for the raw you. Right. So that's fine, Aaron. That's what I said. It's all about, so the hardest thing for people when we have big hearts and stuff is that you just want to be right in there and help everybody. And you're right. Not everybody wants help. They do. They want it, but they're not ready to receive it. And so the biggest thing that we can do is just listen, okay? And listen with the intent to hear. I know that sounds kind of weird, but just go with this for a second. Listen with the intent to hear, because there is a kind of listening that has the intent to fix and want to help, okay? I spent a lot of years as a wedding and event planner, and one of the biggest things that I learned, and I learned it right off the bat, and maybe this is just, I think this is just a trait that I have, or whatever, a personality thing. It's something that I know that I am good at, was that I would just listen, and I would listen to the couples tell me what they wanted, what they were looking for, what their dream was on the day. But I'll tell you, very early on, these couples would tell me their dreams and their plans and what they wanted. And my first thing is, while they're sitting there telling me all of this, I had all this stuff spinning in my head. Oh, this would be great. They would want this, and, and to have this happen at this point in the ceremony. And, oh, wouldn't it be great? Oh yeah, they need a limousine. So I'm going to tell them, I'm going to recommend this company for them. And then this church would be great for them. All of a sudden, I wasn't listening to them anymore. And I was missing important little clues that they were giving me and the things that they were saying. So the biggest thing that I learned was to shut up and listen with the intent to hear what they are really saying. Because there are things that people say that will give you hints as to what's going on inside their heart or what they're thinking about. You'll hear little heart drops, little things that will clue you in onto where they're at and what their needs are. And it's not really our job to fix them. It's just our job to be there and to love them. And then at some point, we are able to point them to the hope, which for me and for most of you that are watching, we point them to the hope that's found in Jesus Christ. That goes for people who don't know who Jesus is and those who do know Jesus, because those of us that do know Jesus, we forget. We forget, and it's our job as fellow brothers and sisters in Christ to point others to Jesus, because he is the hope, and he is where we find our satisfaction. Hey, Katina, I'm glad you joined. We're well into the I'm sweating up a storm in here, but we're talking about being there and loving others who hurt. Excuse me, I'm going to take another drink. So yes, the biggest thing we can do is to listen with the intent to hear. And that's going to mean being extremely patient on your part. Because a lot of times we want to jump right in there because we think we have the answer. But you know what? That may not be the thing that they need to hear. We need to go back to remembering Job and his friends didn't say anything. They let Job do whatever, or nothing. They sat in silence. They didn't offer any advice. And then when they did offer advice, they should have just stopped talking, because it went downhill from there. But that is something to focus on, is that a lot of times we just need to listen, and we need to be better listeners. That's a huge part of communication that is not taught, is just we just need to listen, and we need to listen without feeling that we have to fix them. Was we don't have to fix them. That person needs to be heard. They need to be validated, if you will, not dismissed. Their feelings need not to be dismissed. Right? But at some point, we will need to try to turn them around to showing them that there is hope for their situation. So that was one of my points, was don't be a fix-it person. So I kind of jumped ahead as to where I wanted to go, but don't be a fix-it person. I'm looking at my notes again. Here we go. Struggling people have probably already seen doctors, or they've gone to maybe some counseling. They maybe talked to friends. They probably got a self-help book. They probably searched their symptoms on Google. But it's our nature that we want to help them with a problem. Okay. And that's great. That is what makes us all want to help others, right? Is, we want to offer them some advice because maybe we've gone through that situation and you're like, oh, well, you know what worked for me and I would help you. Oh, and you're just, and nope, just let them talk, because sometimes the best help is that listening ear. Because and just really listen to what they're really facing. It's not our job to solve any problems for people. Okay. It's our job to listen and to help them through it. The best thing that you can do instead of fixing, and part to help you with listening, is to ask questions. Ask questions so that you can get to know that person better. Okay. So asking questions to help understand someone's pain. So like, I spent 10 years in an addictions recovery group, and a lot of the questions that I would ask, would be that I would want to get to know a little bit more about what they were feeling, about why, what would make them want to go light up a cigarette, for example. What their body was feeling, and what it was like, someone who has a mental issue, like someone who hears thoughts, or not thoughts, who hears voices. And so I would ask questions, and I would say, do you mind me asking questions? Because I wanted to get to know what was going on inside of them and what they were feeling, and because I don't know that. And so a way for me to help relate to them a little bit was to just keep asking questions. And so if they don't mind, ask questions instead of offering solutions. Okay. Something that you can say is, hey, I'm sorry. Can you help me better understand what you are going through? Can you elaborate on that? Can you help me understand that? And then just shut up and listen. Okay, so that was my first point. The second point that I wanted to share with you is about being there for other people, is not to compare their situation to your situation that you've gone through, or someone that that has gone through a similar situation. Don't do that. Don't play a comparison game. Oh goodness, what did Aaron say? Aaron says it does not help for someone not to truly listen, but to tell you, you should not think that way, you should not say that, you should not feel that way, instead of saying, I love you and care about you, how you feel, and ask questions and listen, like you are saying. Wait, is there more here? I can't click on the more. Is there more to your comment? Whoops. I can't get the rest of your comment. Aaron, I'm sorry. What? I can't get it. I can like it. Oh, unless that was it. Did you stop and ask questions and listen like you are saying? Oh, okay. Maybe I understand what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. So that's okay. So I think I got one part of what Aaron was saying, was that when you're okay. Yes. Okay. When you're saying things like, yeah, when you shouldn't feel that way. So when you're talking with someone and they're, maybe what they're feeling is not quite right. No, I just agree with what you're saying. Okay, Aaron, I got you. Yeah, so when someone is sharing something with you, and maybe it is kind of crazy, maybe it wasn't what you were what you meant in a conversation and they took it the wrong way or whatever. Yeah. And they're saying, oh, well, you shouldn't feel that way, or you shouldn't say things like that, or you shouldn't, for example, someone might have suicidal thoughts. I would want to say, oh, you shouldn't feel that way. That would be one of the hardest things to listen to. Someone is telling you, things that maybe that what they're contemplating. It's just listen to them and then ask why, like what Aaron was saying there. Why? Tell me why you feel that you want to do this, what you feel would accomplish, and just help me get to understand what you're going through. So helping them talk it out. Sometimes we can start to see our own solution, and we can start to see, well, hey, maybe I don't want to go this route, or maybe my situation isn't as bad as I seem, but we have to let that person talk it out. So yeah, it's not a good thing to say, you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't feel that way, you shouldn't look, you shouldn't say that kind of thing. Yes, all love and care, listening to people, that is what people really, really need. Now that's my experience. So more from this I'm sharing from you. Okay. Unless you're Jesus, and it almost never helps to someone it never helps to tell someone that you know exactly what he or she is going through. Okay, because you really don't. We really do not know what they're going through. Now, I may have a similar instance, but I do not know exactly what you are going through, because that is your situation and your feelings, and you are different than me, so you are going to feel things differently, right? We may have similar situations where maybe we have, I can't even think of a situation that would, maybe we have kids who struggle at math. Okay, your kid struggles at math, my kid struggles at math. We have similar situations, but your situation at home is involving two completely different people than in my house. And the way I relate to my situation is going to be different. So don't play the comparison game. So people in pain, okay, they're suffering with something, maybe, and it could be an illness. Okay, your back pain is not going to be like my back pain. Okay, but knowing that you might have someone who is also suffering from, let's say, fibromyalgia, or some other stuff, maybe have a similar disease or a similar health issue or a similar something else. It is similar, but your pain is going to be different. So whatever their pain is real to them. Here's a good one. Childbirth. Childbirth, ladies. Some women will scream to high heaven over pain, right? And then there are some women who'll be like, Helga, and feel no pain at all, and I push that baby right out. So everybody's pain tolerance is different. Okay, so Helga should not be going, oh, you little pansy, you need a epidural. You know what? We should not be doing that. We should not be the Helga and minimize someone's pain, because that pain was absolutely horrible for that woman, okay? And she should not be saying that, Helga is nothing but a big old bully because she did it without pain. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, that was a funny moment. So I said all of that, and I was trying to be lighthearted about it. But when a person's pain or their experience, I'm pointing again, when their pain or their experience is minimized, like what I just did with a very funny little thing there, but when that person's pain is minimized, then they feel invalidated. and they feel less than. And I know that that's not our intention. That's not my responsibility for how they feel, but that does happen. We want to, hey, you know what? I would be like, well, what was that like for you? That would be something that would open up conversation a little bit better. It'd be like, wow, you did that without any painkillers. How did you manage that, right? Or, wow, you had an epidural. That was, well, what was that like? Were you afraid of this, or did this, how did that help you? And just talking instead of judging each other. There's a whole mom bashing thing, and I could do a whole separate video about that. So anyway, I know I use that one as an example, but that is validating. Yeah, we don't want to invalidate other people. But saying things like, look, I don't pretend to understand what you're going through, but I want to try. Could you help me understand what you are feeling? That's something to think about. Okay, so the next point is, don't make someone's pain or their disease or their past, their whatever, don't make that their identity. And how you do that is by saying, so, okay, I'm going to use another simple one, hopefully to get the point across. Aaron, you've so experienced that. Yeah. What I mean by that is that, okay, so when someone comes up to you, let's say you've had back issues. Oh, and I could think there was this nice lady that I used to sing in the choir with, and I know that she had, and I don't know if she still does, I don't think so, but she had lots of back issues and had some back surgeries, right? And she had some vertebrae that were fused together to help with her back pain. I mean, she had a lot of back stuff done. Now, if whenever I saw her and I would say, hey, how is your back doing? Are you having any pain? How was that surgery? Did this, I'm identifying her with her back pain. How would you think someone would feel if I was in my recovery group and every time everybody came in to our group session, and me being the leader, I was going to go around and every week I would say, hey, how's it going with quitting smoking? Or how you doing in that, with coming off of, I don't know, whatever, how you doing with, that issue with your husband you were telling me about, or if I was always coming at them with whatever it was that they were facing and that they were dealing with and trying to overcome, right? We don't do that. We even though we say, how has your week been? We focus on victories. What have you accomplished this week? What are your wins for this week? And that's what we focus on, right? Do we talk about what they had been struggling with? Yes, they may still be struggling with, but the point is to point them to a victory that they have had and that they can see that they've had victory over this. And we're not trying to identify that person to their problem, right? Because that's not our identity. This whole purpose with the Recycled Mom is not about, it's about finding our true identity. Not, my identity is not a mom. Work with me here, okay? My identity is not these kids. It's not wrapped up in my husband. It's not wrapped up in what I do for a living. Let's say I work as a teacher, my identity is not wrapped up in that. My identity is not wrapped up in this house and all of the things that this has to offer, right? No. My identity is in Christ Jesus. Okay? And that is me. If you're watching and you have a different belief, that's fine. I just want you to know that your identity is not your addiction. Your identity is not your weight. Your identity is not your struggle. Your identity is not your job, your kids, your husband, or anything like that. Okay? Because that's them. All right? So one of the things that we have to understand, and where we need to know what our fundamental identity for me is, that it is in Jesus Christ. That is bottom line. No, you can take everything else away from my life, and my identity is I am a child of Christ. This is where we come back to Job, okay? And Job was able to have everything taken away from him, and he knew who he belonged to still, and he knew who was God of his life. He knew who that was, and I think that was the only foundation that kept him through all of that. He did go through a trial. He did go through lots of questions with God, but in the end, he knew who he was and who he belonged to. C.S. Lewis has a quote that I wanted to read to you. It's from The Weight of Glory, Weight. The Weight of Glory. C.S. Lewis says, or reminds us, that there are no ordinary people. He says, "You have never talked to a mere mortal. Nations, cultures, arts, civilizations, these are mortal, and their life is to ours as the life of a giant. But it is immortals, whom we joke with, work with, marry, snub, and exploit, immortal horrors or everlasting splendors." I know it's kind of a mouthful there, but it's not the cultures or our civilization. It's not our country. It's not our flag. It's not, all of these other things that we have, our pop culture and all that stuff. It's the people. It's people, right? And we are reminded. I'm reminded in the Bible that my fundamental identity is that I am in Christ, despite all of the stuff around me and my faults and failures. I am in Christ. Now, I would love to talk to you about that hope. And if you have any questions, please do email me at therecycledmom@gmail.com, and we can talk more about true identity on a deeper level. That is my foundation, and I think that is the only reason that has kept me sane through all of the hoo-ha in my life. Okay? But bottom line, my identity is not in my circumstances. It's not a disability, an addiction, anything about my past. It's not the sexual abuse I went through. It's not anything but my Savior. So with that said, I'm going to move on to point number 4, which was we have to be careful when we're talking to someone who is really struggling with, it could be an addiction, or it could be, their thoughts or just your circumstances. We cannot 100% guarantee that God is going to deliver our friends from their suffering in this earthly life. If we do, this is what I love about this point, we make God out to be some type of cosmic vending machine. Think about that. We can be so quick to promise, to guarantee that God is going to 100% deliver them from their suffering in this earthly life. Sorry. Okay, God is not a cosmic vending machine. I just love this quote. Okay, and I have to go back to, if you all remember the story of the thief on the cross. Okay, God did not deliver him from his suffering on earth. Remember that? Okay, he recognized who Jesus was, and he asked him to remember him in paradise. And Jesus told him that today you will be with me in paradise. But that did not automatically remove that man from his suffering. He still had to suffer the rest of his death on his cross. He had to do that, and he still had to suffer for that. And if we're going to sit there and promise and 100% guarantee that God is going to deliver someone from their suffering while they are here on earth, then that is wrong of us to do. We cannot promise what God is going to do. Do not invoke God's name in trying to comfort someone, okay? That is not a good thing to do. Right, Aaron? God loved me even though I was a sinner. So one of these things, this quote goes on further to say that this message will let you down. It will let that person down if that is what we are going to the advice that we're going to give them. If you see God as a vending machine and you're going to allow this person to think that God is a vending machine, then you and them, they will become disillusioned when the candy bar doesn't drop after payment has been submitted. Okay? It's gonna be like that. When you promise healing for your friend, they're going to be crushed when it doesn't happen. And they're going to blame you and blame God, and look at where we have a lot of people today, okay? In this faith-based recovery program that I was in, as a leader / counselor, you cannot promise that. Now, I can sit there and tell you that God delivered me out of bondage, okay? It delivered me from so many things, right? However, that may not deliver me from the suffering that I will still have to probably endure because of the choices that I made, okay? There could be residual effects, but I do know what will happen. I do know where my hope is and what's going to happen in the end. But I have to tell you, and you cannot and you should not promise deliverance. And instead, what you should do is remind that person of the presence of God. And that's what we did in this faith-based recovery program. We reminded them that God is with you. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. You're going to go through the valley and God is going to be there. Okay, that's the promise. So, and then the very last thing, I know I'm going long. It's after 9 o'clock, but it's also 9:15. I didn't get started until 8:15. So, don't tell someone, this is the very last thing, to just get over it. Shake it off. You can't tell someone who, for example, who just has a broken leg to just shake it off. That's all in their head or whatever, you can't just tell someone that. It doesn't work, right? So neither can this work when someone has emotional wounds, okay? Or they're going through some other struggles of, addictions, emotional health and that kind of thing. When someone is going through pain and sorrow, or they're, suffering, and just telling them to just, gird up your loins and move on and get on with life, well, that is really not helpful, and that is giving the impression that we're minimizing and that they're not important. And, again, we're going back to invalidation. They're not feeling like they're being heard, okay? We are disregarding their earthly pain, and we are failing to comfort them where they are at now. All right? They have to deal with this pain. Yes, we come where they are at. We get down in there, remember, roll up our sleeves and get down in there with that pain with them, and we help them through it. We don't just tell them, well, you just need to pray more. and here's, get close with the Lord and journal and do all these things, and and I will be praying for you. That is nothing but a Band-Aid, and that does nothing to help them work through whatever it is that they're dealing with. Okay, we need to show them. So I'll tell you. So there was a story about there's this man who fell into a hole, and he unexpectedly, fell into this hole, and he found out that he couldn't get out. He tried everything he could, jumping. He tried to, to climb, and just did everything he could, only to find out that he just was not getting out of this hole. So one person walks by, and this person happened to be a therapist. And the therapist had sat down, and it's like, oh, you seem to be in a hole. And this man's like, yes, I'm in this hole. I can't get out. I've tried everything I could to get out. Can you help me? And so the therapist sits down and sets the watch and says, sure, I can help you. And as they begin to talk, and the therapist asks them questions on how they felt being in that hole, and what it felt like, and what brought them to this point that they fell into this hole. And then all of a sudden, oh goodness, my time is up. I will come back next week to see how you're doing, and seeing if you're making any progress while you're in this hole. And the therapist moves on. And the man is sitting there thinking, well, I'm still in this hole, and I'm still even more confused than I was before. Another person walks by, and then it's like, oh, you seem to have fallen into a hole. And the man says, yes, I've fallen in here, and I cannot seem to get out. I've tried everything, and I've talked to a therapist. And he said, can you help me? And the man said, sure, I can. This man was a doctor, and the doctor looked over his circumstances, and he asked him a few questions, and then he wrote a prescription and said, here you go. I'll be back next week to see how you're doing. So now the man is still stuck in this hole. He's confused, and now he has a prescription that has not really helped him. So he's seen two people, and another person walks by, and this person says, hey, bud, you seem to have gotten yourself into a pickle. And this man says, yes, I have fallen into this hole, and I've seen a therapist, and I've seen a doctor, and all I've gotten is more confused, and I've gotten a prescription that I can't really use. But can you help me out? And the man says, yes, I can help you out. And he jumps into the hole. And the man in the hole says, what did you do that for? Now we're both down here, and we're both stuck. And the man that jumped in the hole says, I jumped down here because I've been in this hole, and I know how to get out, and I'm going to show you how to get out. And he proceeds to show him how to get out, and the man gets out of the hole. So I hope that you see the point of that story, that I'm not bashing therapists or doctors. The point is that we see someone in the hole, and it's a hole that we've been in. We've gotten out. It's our job to get down in that hole and help someone out, because we know how to get out. So that's my whole point. Or not my whole point, but that's a point that I want to end our discussion on, and would love to hear your feedback, and any comments or any questions about anything. Please leave comments down in the chat. Please share this chat with other people, because I would really love for more people to think about how we can be there for others, and how we can love people who are hurting. And just to be, again, we don't always see people who are hurting. We don't know what's going on inside of people. And so you see all these things on Facebook. You don't know what someone else is going through. Just be nice. Don't always assume everything, and they're right. But it's one thing to talk about it, and it's another thing to do it. So let's be that person that jumps in the hole, or be that person that opens up their door and says, hey, you know what? I'd like to get to know you better, right? And let's be intentional about letting others know that we are here. Oh, Anna, you just jumped on, and I'm getting ready to end. Oh no. Um, I wanted to I have a whole lot more that I really want to talk about on this. I didn't realize it was going to go so long. I've already been on here an hour, and I know it's Sunday evening, and I don't want to take everyone's time and keep everyone up so late. But so late. I know it's only 9:15, right? But anyway, I just wanted to give us something to think about, to open our eyes a little bit more as to how we can be there for others, because this is so needed. There are so many people out there, and I know every time that we have a celebrity, a Kate Spade, a Robin Williams, and other people that they make national headlines because they are such huge icons in whatever fashion or celebrity, Hollywood, that kind of thing. That it is such a it is a shock. But let's remember the people who are around us every day, those people who are law enforcement officers, or those who serve in the military, that they've been overseas and have come back. Maybe those that have been in the front lines of war and have come back. Let's remember other moms, because moms, sorry, I'm sweating. You are not alone. You are not alone in being overwhelmed and not sure about what's going on in life. You're overwhelmed. You're not exactly sure who you are anymore. This is to bring you back to your true identity. Start to speak truth to yourself so that you can become alive again and thrive at life and not just survive. Okay, we are better together, ladies. Okay. Aaron says, keep on going. I'm going to try to come back next week with some more points on being there and helping you to again, just think about how you can help others. And also remember, if you're feeling that you want to have some deeper conversation, if you feel that you're a mom that's just really overwhelmed and you're seeking hope and direction, please click the blue button that's at the top of this Facebook page. It says visit group. Come on over and join our group. It's a private group, so whatever is said in there stays in there. And I wanted to create a safe and encouraging environment for people to open up and share. In our group, I try to bring a topic every week. This week I went public because this is something that is so needed. So many people want to be heard and listened to know that they are not alone in this life. And I'm hoping that this will give you some ideas, give you just make you aware of people around you. And if you are someone that is silently suffering and that you want to open up to someone and to be able to just get some help, please, 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 you can message me here on Facebook, or you can email me at therecycledmom@gmail.com, and I will respond to your email, and we can set up a phone call, or we can just chat right here on Facebook. Either way, I would love to just be here for you and help you through whatever it is that you're going through. All right. Everyone have a wonderful evening and a wonderful week, and I'll catch you back here next Sunday. All right. I love you. Bye.